Hey yo, what's up, friends? I fell off my skateboard the other day, and that reminded me of a time that I fell off my skateboard while on a mission trip in Cape Agulhas. But before I tell you that story, I need to just clarify, that was me being bored while I was studying. That was me actually falling off my skateboard. So now that that's out of the way, I want to show you this little guy. Okay? And I want to tell you the story of when I fell off of this dude. So what is the story about? It's technically about suffering, and then with exams coming up, which a lot of students would see as a time of suffering, how to rejoice in your suffering. So that's what I want to tell you about. So I was in Cape Agulhas, and I had already fallen once, which meant I had wounds on my back and on my hands already. And as young people do, they do not learn the first time when they hit the heads or when they hit the tar. So I went longboarding again, and if you've ever been on Cape Agulhas, you know that sometimes the neighborhoods seem like mazes. So I kind of just got lost in this maze of hills, and I was bombing one of these hills with this thing that was not made for bombing hills. And as you can imagine, I got to the end of one of the hills and realized that I wasn't going to be able to slow down or slide and in essence make the turn at the end. So a little speed wobble later, and Kristan was on the ground. So flip, as dudes do, I literally just jumped up, looked at my hands and let out a, sorry neighbors, literally, I was like, come on! And once I got that out, I just sort of assessed the damage, had like roasties all over my legs, all over my hip, my back, my hands, and I did not know what to do because it was one of those cold mornings, so you had open wounds with that cold air, and I was lost somewhere in Cape Agulhas, and I just did not know what to do in this time of literally physical suffering. And about a minute later, Max rocks up. Now, who's Max? We stayed with our host family, and Max is their dog. So Max rocks up, and I'm like, oh my sack, this is amazing. And I literally just went, Max, fuck my house, dude. Max, take me home, Max, take me home with my wounds and whatever. Like, I don't know where to go, I don't know what to do. Max, please, bro, just take me home. And what did Max do? He walked me back home. And there were two moms there who took care of me and dressed my wounds and pampered me. And the amazing thing there is that sort of I got to preach that Sunday in church on a scripture in Romans 5, which has to do with suffering and how God turns that over for the good, what you can learn from suffering, how you can rejoice in suffering. I got to tell the people in Cape Agulhas the story about Max and me falling out of my own stupidity. So I want to read to you a passage of scripture that's similar to the Romans 6 one that I got to preach on. It's James 1 verse 2. Consider it pure joy, my brothers and sisters, whenever you face trials of many kinds, because you know that the testing of your faith produces perseverance. And what does that mean? Let perseverance finish its work, so that you may be mature and complete and not lacking in anything. Romans goes on to explain that leads to maturity, that leads to hope. It's refining of your faith, which is worth more than gold. But I want to pull that through to our specific circumstances, as in exams, which a lot of times feels like suffering. Like a lot of times exam time just sucks. And I want to give you two promises to hold on to and to encourage you with for this exam time. So literally the verse after that. If any of you lacks wisdom, you should ask God, who gives generously to all who ask, without finding fault, and it will be given to you. That's the promise. Now I would encourage you to ask God for wisdom when planning your study sessions, because we want to work hard, obviously, and He wants to give us wisdom in planning our time and managing our time well, practically. And I would encourage you to ask Him for wisdom in order just to comprehend the work. So that, and then the promise is God will give you that wisdom. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you a bonus verse. Literally, if you just page back, there's Hebrews 12 verse 5, which says, never will I leave you and never will I forsake you. But I want to read it to you in the Amplified version. Yeah, I think the challenge here is to really remember this when we are going through tough times. And this is God speaking to us through His word. He Himself has said, I will not in any way fail you, nor give you up. nor leave you without support. I will not in any degree leave you helpless, nor forsake you, nor let you down, nor relax my hold on you. Assuredly not! Exclamation mark. God is saying that He has got your back. When you feel lonely, when you feel overwhelmed by the work, He has got you in His hands. He has the resources that you need. He has the help that you need. He has the wisdom that you need. He has the strength that you need, and He has you in His hands. So I want to encourage you with that as we go into exam times. Now, don't forget that where your strength comes from is from God, who has everything that you will ever need to get through these exams. So thank you just once again for watching, for supporting, and nice and loud.